Instead, consider the plight of Europe, which is a continent now flooded with Muslims. There's Sweden, which now has rape numbers that actually do match feminist statistics. It is a country that prides itself on its feminist credentials. And it is perhaps the only place where rape culture in the West actually now exists. Why? Untrammeled immigration from the Middle East. Malmo in Sweden is now the rape capital of Europe, for one very obvious reason. And then there's Germany, where thousands of women were assaulted on the streets after their genius Chancellor Angela Merkel decided to invite millions of refugees across her country's borders. Now those same refugees are violating women's rights, and feminists are going along with it, making excuses for it and covering up for them. In Britain, where I come from, Muslim rape gangs have molested 1,400 young girls in Rotherham, in sort of middle east of England. And the government report, this is not some sort of crazy right-wing conspiracy, the government report said the reason this went on for a decade, for 10 years, was that the government and that the police and various authorities were afraid of seeming Islamophobic, and that the left-wing Labour and feminist politicians didn't want to seem culturally insensitive. And in the process, 1,400 young girls were raped. Every immigrant group seeks a better life for themselves. They move to a new country to try to enjoy the fruits of the civilization they move to, with one exception, and that's Islamic immigration, who seek to create replicas of their own hellhole countries in the places they come to. Islam is the only group that tells its members not when in Rome, do as the Romans do, but when in Rome, demand benefits and rape people. The situation with regressive social attitudes in Muslim communities in the West is out of control. And your politicians are not talking to you about it. Your journalists are not being honest with you about it. And it is becoming one of the great underreported on or even completely unreported on scandals of the modern era. These are people who have views that are profoundly antithetical to our own. And you got a taste in America of what this might look like in Orlando. I went down there straight after this had happened and gave a speech and talked to people down there, and they were sort of mystified by how this could ever have happened in America. And I said, well, it's happening in America because you're going down the same path that we went down in Europe. In Orlando, about 45 minutes drive north, somewhere called Sanford, I think, there's a mosque. And this mosque hosts a guy who said that the compassionate thing to do to fix homosexuality in the US, the compassionate response, was to kill them all. And this is the kind of environment in which Omar Mateen, who killed 50 and maimed another 50 people in the Pulse nightclub in Orlando, was raised. And this is in Florida. In Florida, in the United States. It was amazing to me that America had allowed itself to get into this position. It's getting so bad in Europe that Vlad the Impaler is acquiring something of a folk hero status compared to the people who now are swarming over from the East. Look, I enjoy being abused, consensually. But Muslim immigration is one of the main reasons I left Europe, and I'm now looking for a home somewhere else. And I advise women to do the same. You see, Europe hasn't solved the refugee crisis, they've just created a new one. Now the people who lived previously in the West are looking for somewhere else to live. And where are the feminists? Well, the feminists aren't focusing on what's happening to women in the Middle East. They're not focusing on what's happening to women when those cultures are injected into our own by politicians without our consent or our agreement. Feminists are complaining about microaggressions, manspreading, mansplaining. They're inventing garbage statistics to try to insinuate that nice, well-brought-up, well-educated people like you are exercising patriarchal control over them. These oppressive conspiracy theories they come up with. The lies they tell about the wage gap. Women don't earn less than men for the same work. It doesn't happen. It's garbage. There's no rape culture on American college campuses. We don't celebrate rape in America. We punish it. But these are the sorts of lies that are told to demonize not just conservatives and libertarians, but anybody who doesn't fall into one of the left's protected victim groups.